tried to show you that we are making a change. And that this here, and everything's supposed to stay away from each other, and you got to blend this into one and the other. If you have the right design, then you can take uses that may not be considered compatible and make them compatible. It's all in the design. How you buffer it, how you landscape it, how you lay it out. We're ready to start seeing some concepts like this, and we are going to rewrite our PUD ordinances to start allowing these types of developments to be proposed in the city of Ozark. And you can see some of these. This is one that's in Claremore, Oklahoma right now, that's being developed, and it's just an absolutely wonderful idea. The developers are here tonight, and they're actually representing this, and it's just a fantastic idea, and they really made it work, and even the designer of this project's here tonight as well. So these are the types of things that we want to start seeing. Mixed-use structures, where you have retail on the bottom, office and loft on top. We don't have a zoning ordinance, or didn't have a zoning ordinance that allowed that to happen. So we've got to make those flexible enough to where you can do something unique like that. Go ahead, Karen. Getting density right. I went to my Planning and Zoning Commission 1 year ago, and I discussed with them smaller lot sizes. I don't know if everybody knows it. Some of you do. City of Ozark has the largest single-family minimum lot size in any of the area cities in this entire region. We have a 10,000 square foot minimum. They about ran me out of my own meeting when I proposed that. And it isn't that we want to just have smaller lot sizes, but I know that there can be a balance where if you're going to allow smaller lot sizes, then the city gets something too. If you want to have a PUD and you say, you know, I need my roads a little bit smaller, I need to have smaller lot sizes, I'd like to use some different density. There's things called coving now. We don't want to have the big cul-de-sacs, but we'd rather meander the street so it's a more neighborhood-like feel. Well, that's great. That's less infrastructure for the city to take care of. That provides you with more property that you can sell. And at the same time, if the city says, well, we'd like to see a little green space or some more landscaping, build that into your design. We want to start working with people and take these concepts to the next level, and I know we can. So we don't have to be afraid of the word density. We're going to get through that. I know we are, because I really feel like it's in the design. Everything's about the design. I'll have you look at this right down here. This is, anytime multifamily is mentioned, everybody sort of shivers a little bit and they get a little bit scared when you say multifamily. This is actually a fourplex. This is a 4 living units in this building, and you would not know that at all. That looks just like a single family house right there. And that's the kind of design that can be done, and I know it can be achieved. This is actually from a mixed-use development called Newtown in St. Charles. Nobody's been there, and I really encourage you to go. It's an amazing development where they've taken a mixed-use development and put every use you can think of in there, and their multi-family structures are just amazing. Go ahead, Kara. Retail development. Let's face it, sales tax. It's what the city lives and dies by. We want to create more opportunity to build more retail development. We want to set the bar high. We want to set the standard high when it comes to design. We understand there's a cost associated with that. So what we've done already is we went back into our parking ordinances and we said, hey, you know what? We've got the highest requirement for parking of anybody in the whole area. We require so much parking, you really can't build anything else here. So when we started requiring landscaping things, we reduced that amount after we talked to the architects and the developers and the engineers to find out what that balance would be. And we were able to come up with a parking ordinance that fit everybody's needs and that met what the city needed and met what the developers needed. So I think when we get ready to bring these type of retail development in, you're going to find that the city's ordinances have improved a great deal and kind of caught up to the rest of the country. Economic development incentives. I know right now this is probably extremely important, maybe more so than in a long time. We have focused on a few different tools in the city of Ozark. As I mentioned before, we've got the tax increment financing district. We're also utilizing community improvement districts. And the laws have changed by where you used to have 5 property owners just to create a community improvement district. Now one property owner can create a community improvement district. You can be a single property owner and still create a CID. and the city would like to hear the proposals and is willing to sit down and listen to the types of proposals that the developers have for proposing these types of unique incentives. The state preservation tax credit. I want to mention this a bit because we've been working with our financial consultant and our CID consultant to figure out what opportunities might exist. When you talk about the downtown, we've got a lot of old structures. We've got a lot of old structures that are on very big lots. If you were able to take a lot and you replace that home with another home, you can get a $25,000 tax credit just from that property. Now, if you've got a big enough lot and we have the right ordinances in place, and you remove that home and you replace that single-family home, and we have a lot of rental properties, you know, properties that are in deterioration mode, things like that, and you're able to replace that with something that's a 4-unit living dwelling unit that looks like the one that I just showed you a moment ago. Now you've helped offset your costs for the property, but you're able to replace that with a number of units you need to make it cost average out. So we understand there's a cost with that, but there are these programs, and we're setting up these programs with our partners in the state to be able to utilize these things. A TDD, we have one TDD in the city of Ozark. It's where our new Walmart Supercenter, well, it's not new anymore, our Walmart Supercenter is, and it has worked incredibly. We're looking at TDDs, considering them along 65 Highway on our other interchanges. TIF districts and TDDs work really well. They work well for us, and they can work well in the future as well. So those are the kind of things that we're looking at, and we know that we have to provide these types of tools, or at least be willing to consider these types of tools if we're going to be able to advance the city of Ozark's economic development. Go ahead, Karen. Where do we go from here? New revenue sources, a business park, transportation improvements. When I say partnerships, it is so incredibly obvious that it's almost impossible for anybody to do anything on their own anymore. When the city of Ozark steps back and says, we've got some tremendous costs associated with these transportation improvements, we need our friends at MoDOT to help us out. We need Christian County to help us out. We need the Ozark Special Road District to help us out. We work with NICSA on these things because it affects us all. And we are building those partnerships right now. We want to work with the developers as well. We understand that if there's a cost associated with making a roadway project, which sometimes you do, and in Ozark, a lot of the commercial developable property lies on MoDOT highway. Most of the primary and secondary arterials we have in our town are all MoDOT highways. So what we know we need to do is we need to create partnerships to be able to work on some of these things. And we've been talking to Christian County and the city of NICSA on ideas of how we could come together and try to find a way to create a business park so we can have some lots available for these businesses that have called every week to say, you know, I want to bring jobs to your town, but you really don't have any lots that are big enough for us to go on. They're not site ready. We hear from Jeff at the Regional Economic Partnership that you've got to have a pad ready site. You've got to have it ready to go, the water, the sewer, the streets. And that's what we want to try to create, something that's ready to go so we can pull the trigger and move forward when they're here. So, and we only need to, and that goes on to my partnerships right below that, but update our PUD ordinances. I talked about that. We've got to evaluate that. We are right now. You're going to see some very big changes in the city of Ozark's regulations and ordinances, and we know that we can achieve what you're looking for and what we're looking for too. Internal reorganization with a focus on improved communication. We now have a system by where we will sit down at any time anybody wants to talk to us about a pre-development project. We have a new software that we have created called a development tracker, which allows us to help you, the developer. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. When you submit a development proposal to the city of Ozark, you have your architects and your engineers, and then we're working with your architects and engineers to go through that process. You may not